sports you do and don't know, both within and surrounding Baltimore. Don't ask him about preseason games, oh no, stuffing things in Griffin Basso. Despite it being on the internet, he can call it what he wants, so Glenn Clark Radio, Glenn Clark Radio, Glenn Clark Radio. Duke sucks.
What questions you have?
John, do you have an update with Teddy Buchanan?
Yeah, he has an ACL. He'll be out for the rest of the year.
Teddy is someone who has improved a lot from the spring until now, playing roughly 70% of your snaps. How do you fill the void as far as what he's able to do for you?
Yeah, Teddy did a great job. Just to see his progress, see him grow as a player. Defense and special teams has just been really fun. I mean, nobody's into it more than he is. He's just great, and he's going to be back next year. Should be back hopefully for training camp, ready to go and ready to kind of build on what he's done. So it's unfortunate, disappointing. It'll be be part of his story, going forward, obviously. But Trent Simpson will take that role. Trent had a really good game, played well, has been practicing great, and every time he's been playing well too. So expect Trent to come in there and just build on what Teddy's been doing, so far, and also what Trent's been doing.
What have you seen from Trent?
There you go. It's John Harbaugh, Ravens head coach, speaking to the media yesterday, confirming what we had known. Teddy Buchanan done for the year with an ACL injury, and he's pretty committed to Trenton Simpson being the guy at weak side linebacker. And, Trenton Simpson looked pretty good on Sunday after he came in and replaced Teddy Buchanan. So hopefully he's ready this time to play at a starter level, which is something that the last couple of times he's been given that opportunity, he's not quite been able to nail down. So hopefully that changes this time around, as he's going to be the guy moving forward for the Ravens at the weak side. It is a Tuesday edition of Glenn Clark Radio. I'm Glenn. He's Griffin. And we need to thank everybody who came out and joined us last night, as we were at Chick-fil-A Nottingham Square. And I need to thank Tez Walker, who was awesome. Spent 2 hours with us last night, was kind, was warm to everybody, was really a whole lot of fun to be around. Greatly enjoyed being around Tez, and really appreciative that he chose to come out and join us and help us help the folks at Helping Up Mission. I need to thank Chick-fil-A Nottingham Square just for existing. Thank you for being you. They've, our friend Steve Pavlovsky and the crew at Chick-fil-A Nottingham Square has embraced what we've been doing for over a decade now. I've always asked how they could help. They're providing food. They're providing stuff that we can give away. And then they chipped in and they even made a monetary donation on top of that last night to Helping Up Mission. So thank you to them. They had a great staff of kids from Sparrows Point High School and their National Honor Society that was helping us on top of that, which was wonderful. And it meant that I didn't have to bag up all the coats at the end of the night, which was really nice. But most importantly, thank you to all of you. And, every year I get very stressed out about these events and whether it's what we're doing and how we can pull it all off. And you guys always come through for us. And so thank you is all I can say. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for your donations. Some of you that weren't able to make it out who said, hey, can I chip in a little bit more money? Nick Kelly just sent me a text this morning. He said, can I throw a couple more bucks in? It means a lot. It means so much. Helping Up's a special place, and we're going to go down there on Thursday to drop everything off. And so they're going to be able to distribute it to folks before the holiday. And we already have, lots of stuff that we collected last night, and I'm still going to go spend the money that you all donated before Thursday. And, again, got more donations. And, look, if you still want to chip in something, by all means, we will take it. And that means more socks and underwear that I can run over and purchase when I run to Target a little bit later. So, yeah. It's just gratitude. That's all I feel. It fills my heart every year. There's no way around it for me. I'll add a really personal layer to it. Today is the 1-year anniversary of the date that my father-in-law passed away. And December is really tough. Like last year, it kind of upended my life and our world. And for me to have to be thinking about this today instead of thinking about that really means a lot. It really does. So thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Abundant thank yous. And we're going to do it again next year, and I'm going to be a jerk about it, and I'm going to call people out, and I'm going to side-eye you when you don't get – I'm going to do all that. But that's just who I am. We'll do a NCAA tournament pool before that. Like, we'll do other things. I guess we'll have to do a World Cup thing next summer. I just hope you know how much it means to me. I hope you understand how appreciative, and not just I am, but everybody at Helping Up is, and all the folks whose lives are bettered. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Abundant thank you. And, yeah, I get emotional, man. I really do. I get very emotional. It just means that much. So very cool. All right, coming up on the program today, in just a couple of minutes, our friend Mike Florio is going to join us. Of course, the Ravens will be on NBC this Sunday night, so we'll be seeing Mike as part of their coverage. So we'll talk to him about that and when the NFL changed the catch rule and didn't bother to inform everyone that they changed the catch rule, which is kind of wild. Also, a little bit later on, Navy senior snipe Eli Heidenreich will join us. Discuss the awesome win over Army and his heroics, 4th down touchdown catch, fumble recovery, all the above. We'll talk to Eli Heidenreich about that. They got one more game to play at the Liberty Bowl against Cincinnati. And we will preview Waiver-Wire Wednesday with our guy Joe Serpico. I did survive last night, so I'm 3 of my 4 leagues into the semifinals. Thank you for nothing.
4 of 4.
Oh, you think that makes you so great?
I do, yes.
Okay. Congratulations. Thank you for nothing in the 4th league where I don't even know. Justin Jefferson really is what went wrong there. He used my number 5 overall pick on him. And
idiots.
It's really funny,
what
too.
What were you thinking?
I absolutely had I don't want Justin Jefferson. But then I was like, am I crazy to not take him at 5th? He's there at number 5. Damn it. But yeah, we'll talk to Joe Serpico about Bill Krosky-Merritt, see if he's worth picking up after his big game, see if there's who could be this week's Trevor Lawrence, maybe at the quarterback position. We'll do all those things with Joe a little bit later on. So all of that coming up on a Tuesday edition of the program. But as I stated, of course, Ravens-Patriots Sunday night on NBC. That means that we'll be seeing our next guest as part of Football Night in America coverage. And he's also going to be giving away his book this week. Joining us now here on GCR, the man behind Pro Football Talk, our friend Mr. Mike Florio is back with us. Mike, it's Glenn. It's always great to catch up, brother. Happy holidays to you, and thank you for taking the time.
Same to you. Good to be with you. December is rocketing by. And yes, the book will be given away, but the e-book, not the actual book, because paper is not free.
That's true.
Tariffs have made paper very expensive.
So how does this work? If people want to claim a copy of On Our Way Home, how does this work that they can just have the e-book for free?
Yeah, just go to Amazon.com. It's Thursday of this week. I've done 3 days already during the holiday season where I flipped the switch from 99 cents for the ebook to 0.00. I've got 2 more days I'm going to do, and Thursday the 18th is the next one. So you just go to the book page, you search On Our Way Home, my last name, it'll come up, and you can get the ebook for free. You can also get the print edition for a mere $9.99. It's a very easy way to check off some names on your Christmas list. It's a Christmas story, falls somewhere, I hope, I intended, at the intersection of It's a Wonderful Life and A Christmas Carol. And it's probably my favorite of the novels I've written so far. I hope there are others that I will like better in the future, but for now, it's the one that I really like, and it's just got a good message that I didn't intend as I was writing it, but when I finished it, it's like, you know what, there's a good message lurking in here kind of accidentally, and I have heard from people who have benefited from it. So hey, it's no risk, it's no strings attached, no purchase required,
right?
Free on Thursday.
And if you don't like it, it costs you nothing. It costs you nothing in the process.
Just delete it.
But that's cool, and obviously if you do like it, it's probably worth picking up the other books. Would be the way to go about that. Well, that's awesome. I think it's a really good thing for you to do, and a neat thing for folks this holiday season. I got to cover with you because I know you wrote about it. I'm interested in, is this really about that the NFL secretly changed the catch rule and didn't bother to tell everyone? Is it that the officials went rogue and said, we're going to emphasize one part of the catch rule, and that's why they're all obsessed with it? Or is it possible they know they just screwed up, but for some reason don't want to admit that they screwed up, and so they are continuing to bang the drum of there needs to be a third step when we all have access to the rule book, and it absolutely does not say that?
Well, and here's what happened. A period went by of multiple years during which the NFL, despite its best efforts, couldn't come up with the articulation of the catch rule that would match what we all kind of inherently know. You want to have a rule, and it's not easy to do sometimes. You want to have a rule that puts in writing that visceral sense of we know it when we see it. And they struggled with the third element, the making of a football move, or technically in the rule book, an act common to the game, or also having enough time to do it. That's element 3. First element, you got to catch the ball. Second, 2 feet or a body part down. Third, make the football move or have enough time to do it. When they added the third step, that made it a lot easier to objectively confirm that a guy had the ball long enough to make a football move. And it ended up being, I think, initially a way to just say, okay, there's no doubt the guy completed the process, but you can still complete the process without the third step. And what's happened is, and this is all the product of me getting on the phone with people who are in a position to know how these rules were designed and how they're supposed to be implemented immediately after the likely play, because I knew right away that's a catch. Mm-hmm. That is not an incomplete pass. And to say, and this was from the pool report after the game, and I think the league's position in conversations with the Ravens, trying to reconcile the likely non-catch with the ridiculous idea that Aaron Rodgers had the ball long enough to catch it on that other play just a few minutes earlier. What I've learned is 2 things. Number one, as it relates to the catch rule, they are focusing on exclusively the third step. When Walt Anderson was on NFL Network this past weekend talking about it, all he talked about was the third step. Yep. They didn't get into the other football moves, which include extending the ball away from the defender or warding the defender off. There's no reason to tuck it and turn upfield because he's in the end zone.
Yep.
But he had the ball long enough. That's the key, and that never gets discussed. You don't have to make the football move. You just have to have it long enough to make one if you were inclined to do so. And if Bijan Robinson had the ball long enough last Thursday night to fumble it, catch it and fumble it, which was lightning strike split second before he fumbled, and if Jalen Hurts had it long enough last Monday night on that fumble recovery, remember after the interception there was a fumble, it was that crazy play with 3 turnovers, 2 were charged to Hurts, and it ultimately didn't matter as to possession. But Hurts had it long enough to gain possession of the fumble, and it's the same rule to recover possession of a loose ball in play. If he had it long enough, likely cleared he had it long enough. And the other problem is, beyond focusing on the third step in exclusion to everything else, the replay review system has gotten away from the clear and obvious standard.
Yep.
That is a problem. And they replaced their judgment for the judgment of the people who make the call in real time. This was not a problem of officiating in that game. This was an error of the replay review system in the league office. ignoring, because here's what they had to find. They had to find there was clear and obvious evidence that Isaiah Likely didn't complete the process. And I would submit to you, and I assume most people listening to this would agree, but I'd like to think anybody with common sense would agree. It wasn't clear and obvious that he hadn't completed the process.
By the way, it's funny to me because we brought up the Kyle Pitts, the last touchdown from Thursday night, where it felt like they were defaulting, and the call on the field was, a touchdown, so they're going to have to prove that it definitively wasn't, which is hilarious because, as you point out, on the flip side, we're seeing more and more it's almost like the call on the field doesn't matter in these circumstances, and so I think it's both the catch rule that they have to really, if they want to make it so that 3 steps is the rule, make 3 steps the rule. Like, do that. Go through the process and say, we've decided that's what it's going to be. Everybody knows you got to take 3 steps. Fine. That's fine. It's not what the rule says. And then we've got to figure out what the standard is for replay at this point because it is wildly incongruent.
Well, we know what the standard is. The question is, will they stick to it? And it used to be that the referees at the game site had the authority over replay. And they didn't like that because with 17 different referees, you potentially had 17 different interpretations of how the standard should apply. So the whole thing was created 12, 13 years ago with the idea that there would be one person and one person only, and it was supposed to be Dean Blandino, who would be the one who makes the decision on every replay review so they would know it's the same person applying the same standard, not ignoring, not failing to give deference to the ruling on the field. And that was the idea. Well, then Blandino left because, frankly, they're too cheap to pay the guy what he should have been paid. And he has said that, not in those words, but he said they don't value that position the way they should. Now they don't even know. Like, I've talked to coaches who are like, I don't even know who's making these decisions. I don't know who's deciding this at any given moment. I don't know who's influencing them. I don't know who's in the room. That's the problem. And, frankly, I don't want to give my website, ProFootballTalk.com, too much credit for the influence it has. But I know this. I know the owners and I know the league office read very carefully everything we write. And I would not be surprised. I'm not saying this is the case. I wouldn't be surprised if the Pitts decision was influenced by how hard we've been banging the drum on the fact that they've gotten away from the clear and obvious standard. Because that was a case where they honored the clear and obvious standard when they probably shouldn't have.
Right. The replay would suggest they both came down.
Clear and obvious. This elbow was down as the ass hit of Kyle.
Yep. I agree. I completely agree, which is wild to me. Mike Florio, Pro Football Talk, is with us here on GCR. Mike, 2 weeks ago, we were all talking about whether or not Mike Tomlin and or John Harbaugh, and really both of them, might be gone. While obviously the Ravens lost to the Steelers that day, both coaches are in some better positions today. Is there any part of you that thinks that either one of them or both of them might not be the coach of their respective teams next season?
Well, I think it all comes down to who wins the division and gets that playoff spot. And I just posted something at the website about how the next 2 weeks don't matter to the Steelers. They can lose both, even if the Ravens win both, because the Steelers win week 18.
Yep.
There's a 9-8 tie, and the Steelers get the tiebreaker, and then the Ravens would be out. Right now, the arrow seems to be pointing toward the Steelers, but who knows? We see how quickly things can change. Yeah, I think whoever doesn't make the playoffs out of that division, we just have to wait and watch and see what happens. 19 years for Tomlin, 18 years for Harbaugh. That's a really long time in today's NFL. That's a really long time historically. There aren't many coaches who have been with the same team much longer than that. And there have been a few times over the years where the Ravens get to the end of a non-playoff season and there's just kind of this vague, like, is it time? Like, is it just time for a fresh start for both? And I think the stuff that Ben Roethlisberger said about Tomlin would also apply to Harbaugh. There's potentially a point where it's in everyone's interest to start over, and when the time comes, the Ravens should let John Harbaugh do whatever he chooses to do. That's the wrinkle in all of this. I think both men have earned the ability to go wherever they want to go without the current team saying, well, we want a first-round pick and a third-round pick and whatever else. I think after that much time on the job, when you decide you want to move on, you should be allowed to move on. And I doubt that the Steelers and the Ravens would agree with that because they're going to want to get compensation if it happens. But if the team's ready to move on, let's not play games. Let's be grown-ups. Let's make an adult decision. It's in the mutual interest of player and team, or coach and team, to make a change. Let's just make the change, even if that means that John Harbaugh or Mike Tomlin end up immediately coaching other NFL teams, which probably would happen. I think if either guy was available in this cycle, they would immediately land elsewhere if they wanted to.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. And I know that's awkward because then they could be going up against you, but, you decided you didn't want them anymore, right? I don't know. I don't know how that could be the case. And I
just think there's a point where once the coach has put in that much of his life, I think there's a point where we can't play these games about, we want this, we want that, we don't want him here, we don't want him here. Hey, look, we've gotten a lifetime out of this guy relative to what other coaches do by way of how long they're with their team. So I don't know that it's going to come to that, but I think whichever guy doesn't make the playoffs, doesn't win the division, we just got to sit back and see what happens. There's always that one that we weren't really expecting that tends to happen. And you can't say it about this because we'll be watching closely both Pittsburgh and Baltimore, or either one, depending upon who isn't in the postseason.
Mike, it's not going to be the Chiefs. We know that much. How many actual does it make everything completely wide open? Like, how many Super Bowl contenders do you think there really are at this point? And how impactful is it that there isn't but Mahomes is just going to be there in the end, hanging over all of it?
Well, I mean, when you look at the AFC, and I'll start there, the fact that you're not going to have the Chiefs, you're not going to have either Lamar Jackson or Aaron Rodgers, you're not going to have Joe Burrow. I think that we'll have this kind of the Bills, we're starting to come to this realization based upon what we've seen from Josh Allen the past few weeks and in their victories over the Steelers, and they were down big against the Bengals. They came back, down big against the Patriots and came back. There's going to be a lot of attention and in turn a lot of pressure on Josh Allen and the Bills. And a lot of the teams he'll be going up against are going to have young, unproven quarterbacks, whether it's the Texans with C.J. Stroud, the Broncos with Bo Nix, the Patriots with Drake May. And it just creates the possibility for some extremely fascinating playoff games, because either you're going to have the narrative change for the Bills, or you're going to have one of these upstarts get hot. Hell, the Jaguars, we can't forget about them. They're 10-4. They get a shot at the Broncos this weekend. So it's just a nice, we've been waiting for this kind of let's have something different. And in the AFC, it's going to be very different, although one similarity will be the Bills. We're not fatigued by the Bills because they've yet to fulfill Josh Allen's potential. And I think a lot of people I know in Baltimore it isn't the case, but I think nationwide there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be rooting for Josh Allen to finally get the Bills to a Super Bowl.
Well, I think the crazy part, Mike, is that for as mid as the Ravens have been, as disappointing as they've been, and as much doubt as I still have about their ability to get in, I can't, because of what you laid out, I can't say definitively that if somehow, Lamar Jackson looks like Lamar Jackson the next couple of weeks, that they can't have a chance. I can't say that because it is, to me, fairly open at that point.
Right. And look, maybe it's good to just kind of get in by the skin of your teeth and have this vibe that we shouldn't have been here. Because for the Ravens, with every year that they fail to perform in the postseason the way they performed in the regular season, that starts to become a bigger and bigger burden. And I think Lamar Jackson acknowledged something like that last year, that, he feels the pressure a little bit. I can't remember the exact words, and I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I do recall there was something along those lines. And I remember when the Bengals were getting there every year under Marvin Lewis. It got to the point where Marvin Lewis got sick of hearing about it because every year it cranks up the pressure, and every year you feel the failures of past seasons on your shoulders. Because look at it this way, and this is one of the things I love about the playoffs. You've got everything that happened from September to early January out the window. The only thing that matters is what number is assigned to you on the playoff tree. But your entire season is riding on the next 60 minutes of football. And the better your season is, the more pressure you have to not screw up that great season you had. And conversely, if you're one of these teams that's there every year, but, is left on the porch and can't kick the door in, I think that there's a factor where you feel that, and you need to forget about that. Maybe if the Ravens are just like, man, we don't know how we got in, we shouldn't be here, maybe that's the best way to forget about the past and just focus on the present.
Yeah, it can't really be a letdown, if you're not the favorite, if you're not expected to do it. Real quick, because I know I need to let you go. All the injuries, Mahomes, Parsons, I feel like there's been a louder conversation about maybe a second bye week or tinkering with the schedule. They're certainly not giving games back. They're not shortening the season. That's not happening. If anything, it'll still grow at some point. But do you feel like there's going to be conversation at any point about the idea of a second bye?
Well, they're going to get 18 games at some point, whether the NFL Players Association agrees to it as part of negotiations or the league locks them out until they cry uncle and say, we'll play an 18th game. The problem is the NFL's got this fever dream of starting the weekend after Labor Day and making the Super Bowl land on President's Day weekend.
Right.
Now, under the current schedule, there are years where it will land on President's Day weekend just by virtue of the way the calendar plays out. I think next year it lands on President's Day weekend. So they're going to have to mess with the front end of the schedule if they add in a second bye. They got away from opening the season on Labor Day. 2001 is the last year they opened on Labor Day because nobody's home and the ratings are lower if we start then. They're going to have to get back to that at some point. And I think they have to realize the world's very different than it was then because if you're at your cookout, if you're wherever you are, you watch it on your phone and the numbers still count toward the ratings. So that's going to be part of it. If they're going to do a second bye, they're going to have to start seasons Labor Day weekend. And if they're going to do a second bye and they're determined to make it land on President's Day weekend, they may have to start a weekend before Labor Day one of these years. But that's one of the consequences of growing the season. You got to build in more time. And a second bye, I don't know how much it's going to matter. If a guy's got an ACL that's been gradually eroding and he doesn't even know it, and that one step pops it like it did for Michael Parsons, because that probably wasn't a clean tear of a fully intact ACL. It probably had some damage to it. It doesn't matter if you have a bye or not, because once you start wearing away at an ACL, no amount of rest is going to change it. That thing is permanently damaged, and it's just a matter of time before it pops.
If you go at Pro Football Talk on Twitter, the pinned tweet is a link for information about how you can claim your free ebook copy of On Our Way Home. Of course, ProFootballTalk.com. Football night in America this Sunday night ahead of Ravens Patriots. Mike Florio, you're the best, man. Appreciate you. Thanks for hopping on as always, dude.
Thanks, Dusty.
Mike Florio with us here on GCR. I saw a lot of that going around. We were talking about a 98 Rock this morning. I think what Mike just said is true. And I've always said, look, push me further into February if we're going to go the calendar that way. Like, I'd rather more cold football than hot football, but I also kind of get that. Like, I'm also the guy that'd be like, yeah, but I'm not going to the game because it's too cold. So it's an awkward spot for me to be the one saying, hey, by all means, more February football, less August football. And I'm absolutely the person that would somebody say, hey, you want to go to a game in February? And I'd say, not a chance in hell. No way. I will not be doing that. But this isn't really about me because I'm not going to go to a game in December, most likely. I mean,
You don't like football.
No, I love football. I love football.
You don't like sports.
I love watching football from my house. It's the best place to watch it. Like, I went to Army Navy on Saturday, had a great time, but I realized, like, for example, you were sitting in the crowd, and I brought up the Eric Ford thing, and you were like, holy crap. Oh,
yeah.
I had no idea. Whereas because I was in the box, I saw it, and I thought I saw what I thought I saw. Like, I was like, did that? Everybody's talking about Eli Heidenreich was about to join us, but, like, I feel like Alex Tezca made the play there. And so it was easy for me because I was able to pull up the stream and Twitter and all that, and I was able to see 3 different versions of it pretty quickly. That if I had been sitting where you were sitting and needing to wear gloves because it was miserably cold out, like, I'm not going to be able to do that on my phone. So, look, I know that this makes me a curmudgeon.
I brought gloves. I actually didn't wear them.
I get it. You're a badass. I understand.
I had hand warmers.
Okay. Changes everything. The hell, it was cold in Cleveland the day that I was there. Let me make that abundantly clear. It was just not like I'm going to die cold. It was just cold. But there's a limit for me. And at some point, like, that was about my kids. I said before, at some point my kids are going to want me to go to a cold football game again, and I'll probably end up doing it. But I don't want to. I just think that it's very selfish for me. I have baseball to keep me company in the summer. And yes, there are years where the Orioles aren't good, and we wouldn't mind that football started.
Just every now and then.
Yeah, in mid-August. Like, we wouldn't mind that. But for the most part, I've got it to keep me company. And once football season ends, it's just frigidly cold, and you're still a ways away from the playoffs in the NBA and the NHL, and you cannot make those regular seasons matter. You can't. You cannot.
You know whose regular season does matter?
Who?
College basketball. And they got us. They got us in February.
Yeah, to some extent. I mean, that's what you have, right? And we try our damnedest. I don't think that's going to help us much this year. Maybe Towson. Will keep us engaged.
Obviously.
I don't think it's going to be Maryland. So I want to fill that void. It's very selfish for me. I want to fill that. So by all means, build in a second bye week. As long as it's not the same bye week for everybody, right? I don't like that. I don't want a week where there's no football. I'm trying to think if there was a week where not Thanksgiving week, Lord. Was there a week that we have other things going on that we could survive as a society not having the NFL?
You're trying to say take an entire week off the whole league.
That's been a suggestion that's been made for a second bye week.
I think they got to figure out how to make it.
100%.
This team, 4 teams.
But then it becomes difficult because we also we play fantasy football, and then you have those weeks where there's 6 teams on bye, and presumably it's a lot more of those weeks.
Part of the game, man. I guess you got to start. Thinking about that more strategically.
I guess. Yeah. It's not good. That's not good for the league. They don't want people. The idea is you want to dumb it down as much as possible to have as many people involved.
For fantasy football?
Yes. But
I mean, bye weeks they're still a thing today.
I understand that.
I think
I'm okay with the idea of a second bye week.
I'm just going to have to deal with the 2 weeks that Devon Achane's on bye. I go 0-2. You know?
So that's how life works.
Yeah.
He did just enough last night.
Yeah,
just enough.
He did. I was going against DK Metcalf. So after that touchdown by DK Metcalf, I was texting my buddy. I was like, "You mother." Because that was when the Dolphins were going backwards. That was at the third quarter.
In the third quarter, they had like negative
20
6 yards. Or, is that what it was?
I think it was negative 20. I mean, it was
I had to go
ridiculous.
to bed, but I did see tweets about it this morning.
Gosh, I mean, they were literally going backwards the entire quarter, and then DK Metcalf had like a 10-point play on the touchdown. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I was losing for like a split second, and then fortunately,
just enough.
The Dolphins are terrible. But they fortunately realized if we want any chance, give it to H.
That seems smart to me. All right. If you missed it yesterday, Stan the Fan Charles, Luke Jackson caught up with Jacob Calvin-Meyer, the Baltimore Sun, to talk about Pete Alonso and the moves the Orioles might still make moving forward. You can find that right now by going to facebook.com/PressBoxSports, youtube.com/PressBoxOnline, or PressBoxOnline.com/video. As always, Stan Shows brought to you by the Costas Inn and the new Costas Inn open in Timonium at the Grandstand. We come back in. Eli Heidenreich, Navy senior snipe and hero of their win over Army. He's going to join us next. Glenn Clark Radio.
The weather's getting cooler, so when you and your family are picking out a place to dine, be it lunch or dinner, let's make it nice and easy. Now, with 2 great locations, the Costas Inn remains your #1 destination. Whether you want to get steamed crabs and the full Costas menu out at the original location at 4100 North Point Boulevard, or sample the complete menu minus the steamed crabs at the new location above the grandstand at the Timonium Racetrack. Costas is your place to go. Check out the website, CostasInn.com, for a look at the menu, and if you want to plan that crab feast, call 410-477-1975. The Costas Inn.
Get in the game with Volo Sports. With over 15 sports to choose from, join a league or grab a Volo membership for discounted play, free daily pickups, fitness classes, and exclusive events. But the best part? A portion of every league fee helps the Volo Kids Foundation provide free sports to over 5,000 kids across Baltimore City each year. Don't miss out. Early pricing for the winter season ends December 12th. Final registration deadline is January 15th. Sign up now at volosports.com/Baltimore.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
The latest edition of PressBox is available now. On the cover, Don Marcus profiles new Maryland Athletic Director Jim Smith, breaking down the challenge he faces in his new role and the unique background he brings to the job. Also inside, Brandon Schwartzberg takes an in-depth look at Orioles outfielder Dylan Beavers. And we meet college basketball players from all the programs around the state before the season gets underway. PressBox is available for free at over 250 locations throughout the region. And starting this month, you can find us at Baltimore area High's Dairy Store locations. Plus, you can read the entire issue online at PressBoxOnline.com, where you can also find great betting advice and the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps.
Get ready to hit the ultimate holiday jackpot at Live Casino during the live action $1 million giveaway. Every Friday through December 26th, we'll draw 25 lucky cash winners, but only one winner each Friday will advance to the final rounds on December 26th, where you could win $1 million in just 3 spins. Come make your million, only at Live Casino. At Erndale Mills, must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Contrary to what some people believe, I actually like this guy when he sleeps. Glenn Clark, talking sports.
All right, back in here on GCR as we continue along on a Tuesday edition of the program. Everything you need to know about high school sports in the state of Maryland as we shift into winter sports season. CountySports.zone, proudly sponsored by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com. Had to do this a little bit earlier because of his schedule as they get ready for a Liberty Bowl date with Cincinnati, but the opportunity to catch up with Navy's Eli Heidenreich right here on GCR. And, of course, what a Saturday it was here in Baltimore as Navy came from behind to beat Army 17-16. Back-to-back 10-win seasons for the first time in school history. Back-to-back Commander-in-Chief's trophy titles. And this man was one of the significant reasons why he is Navy senior. Eli Heidenreich, and he's back with us now here on GCR. Eli, it's Glenn. It's great to catch up, man. Thank you for taking the time, and congratulations.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Eli, tell me if I'm wrong, right? But I was sitting in the post-game press conference, and I sensed there were some unspoken, emotions that you were going through after that. And it felt like you were kind of still taking it all in. Was I right to kind of notice that? And can you tell me what all of it meant to you in the aftermath of playing your last Army-Navy game?
Yeah, absolutely. That game it's very emotional, just across the board, and something that, it takes a few days for you to really process all those feelings. And I think, initially after the game I was just super proud of, my team and the way we played and the way we fought back. And, after kind of settling down for a little bit and having some time to think about the game, it's a little bittersweet. And I say that because it's just the last, opportunity I'll have to go out and play in a game with that much meaning. So that's why it's a little sad when you take a step back and really think about it.
I completely understand, man. There is nothing like it in sports. All right, let's relive a couple of things. Let's start with the fumble. I know. I talked to Alex about it afterwards, and even he wasn't sure if he actually got his hand on the ball. But were you twofold? One, were you aware that this how close this was to being a touchdown the other way? That Eric Ford legitimately had the ball with the chance to go the other way with nothing but real estate until Alex makes the play. And then walk me through what that moment is like. Is it calm? Is it collected for you? You guys are so businesslike, or is it hair on fire, kind of panicky in a moment like that?
Honestly, it was a little more calm than I think you would have thought. And then, that the reason for that being is just kind of how much of a surprise it was. I thought we were good to go. We're a yard away from scoring. It's gonna, just score a touchdown real quick, and then all of a sudden I turn around and the ball's on the ground. And I didn't really realize at the time that Alex had like hit it out like that, and that he had almost scooped and scored and ran it all the way back. I kind of realized that after, watching the replay. So during the moment, I didn't really realize how close to like disaster we truly were.
Man.
I kind of realized that after the fact.
Did you know before we relive the touchdown, did you know that you guys would go for it on fourth down? Going into the third down play, after the third down play, when did that become – did you have to politic for it at all?
I did not know what we were going to do. I thought maybe we'd kick the field goal, but thinking about how much time was left and, how their offense had been moving the ball, and I think it would have been tough for us to get the ball back in that situation. So I kind of had a gut feeling that that's what we were going to do.
When you realized that you were one-on-one, right? Like, did you know, like, before the ball was even thrown, did you know, like, oh, we got a touchdown here? Like, did you know as soon as you were one-on-one?
I did, and the reason for that being, so if you watch the play before, they play pretty much the exact same coverage, and the safety who was covering me was playing extremely heavy outside leverage and trying to take away the corner route. And I mean, you would assume that with that leverage, they'd throw either the outside backer, the inside backer underneath for some additional help, but they didn't. It was just one-on-one man coverage, and I had the inside route, and it was not super tough. So just ran up, stuck my foot in the ground, and scored the touchdown.
It was there.
Yep.
I really appreciate the highlights courtesy of CBS. This was the play. And the other thing that's crazy to me too is I had brought up, like, there was the third down play in the third quarter from, like, I think the 11, where Blake had nearly gotten in the end zone, and it felt like they were still very seriously concerned about that. As you saw, it felt like they were double spying him in that spot.
Mm-hmm.
Despite you guys being back at the 8, like, that's how much of a threat he was, and I think that obviously helped.
Absolutely.
So you get this. The game's not over at that point, right?
Correct.
The confidence that you had in your defense, you mentioned, like, how they had done in the first half. But for, like, the last 20-plus minutes of the game, your defense allowed a total of -1 yards, which is just so absurd to say out loud. What clicked? Like, what did you have this sense? Like, was there something said at halftime? Like, can you take us into how everything flipped to make this happen in the second half?
Yeah. So there were, from talking to some of the defensive guys after, there were some X's and O's adjustments. I don't really know to what scale, but I think Army had done a pretty good job of scheming them up a little bit, and going into halftime, they had the chance to make some changes to how they'd play some things. And I think that was one of the big factors going into the second half, was just kind of that X's and O's side. And then I think across the board, as a team, our attitude going into halftime, we weren't down. I would not say we were down. We just needed to get fired up a little bit. And I think we had, some guys go around and, get us moving again and, get us in the right headspace. And I think that was big, just, kind of taking that mental reset at halftime and coming out with the right mindset.
He's Eli Heidenreich. He's with us here on GCR. Eli, a lot of you guys talked about adversity after the game, right? And I know that you and I have talked before about, there's something hilarious about a Navy football team facing adversity, right? Because it's nothing on the field can compare to what it is that you guys do every day and that you're going to be doing moving forward. But, like, what is it? Again, where does it come from that none of this stuff phases you guys? That, Blake can be kind of a little bit erratic, right? And none of it phases him. How do you guys manage to hang in there when things are going wrong on the road and neutral places against your biggest rival, and that none of it ever gets to you?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing, and I believe I've said it before, is just kind of having Blake at the forefront. He's truly the leader of our offense and the guy that people look up to whenever things aren't going great. And he would be the first to tell you that I think the game on Saturday this past weekend was not his best one. He made some mistakes, turned the ball over, and that's okay. He was not pressing. He was not stressed out. He was calm the entire game. And, I think that helped kind of bring us together on offense and, settle us down in times. But that also helps him perform in times that, we need it as an offense.
The, Blake referenced in particular, it felt like there was maybe something a little personal, right? And I get it's Army-Navy. It's always going to be personal. I understand that. But it felt like you guys were letting on to maybe you didn't love some of the things they were saying, and that maybe it went beyond a little bit, just more than your typical Army-Navy game.
Yeah. I don't want to get into it too much, but I feel like that there's a lot of respect that comes from our side, and sometimes I feel like it's kind of batted away, if that makes sense, and they don't really accept that. And then just in the game, little things, just chirping the entire game, and that happens in football, so you can't really say much, but there's little things like ticky-tacky things that just don't have a place in football, in my opinion. And it's just it feels good to be on the winning side when things like that are going on.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that a great deal. He's Eli Heidenreich, and he is with us here on GCR. Eli, I know you get one more game, right? Like, you get one more opportunity to go out there with your brothers. But now that we're at that point, right, can you attempt to define what these years have meant for you with this experience of playing football at the Naval Academy? And for you in particular, like the ups and the downs, right? Because you were there for a really difficult time of transition to come out on the other side like this. Can you put all of that into words?
Yeah. I could be here for hours talking about my experiences and what it's meant to me. But I kind of think a good way to sum it up would just be I'm super thankful for it. And the reason for that is, I think there's been a lot of lessons that I'll take away from this program and, what it's given to me and taught me. But I think the thing that I'm most thankful for are the people and, the relationships that I've formed. It's funny, I look around in the room and all of my best friends in the whole world are on the Navy football team, which is pretty awesome. So, I get to go play football with my best friends in the whole world every single day. And, I'll be able to carry on those relationships in the future. And it'll look a little different. We'll all be serving and doing different things in life, but I'll still have those relationships regardless. And, that's what I'm super thankful for.
I loved what Blake said about, like, other schools talk about a brotherhood, and these are guys that might know each other for, 8 weeks, and then that's the entirety of it. But you guys, it really is. It's something different. It's something so special. Lot of people talking about, man, Eli Heidenreich, the more I look at him, the more I see, like, Julian Edelman in him. There was a lot of conversation about that. How excited are you about the opportunity that you have? We saw, obviously, for Ray, it worked out really well for him a year ago. How excited are you about that opportunity to try to prove this now at the next level?
Yeah, I'm super grateful to just kind of, even have the chance to go out and show my skill set and, hear back if people think that I'm good enough to play in the NFL. I think that that's super cool and something that I've been dreaming of since I was a kid. I think any little kid playing football, growing up is like, I'm going to go be in the NFL when I'm older. And it's crazy to think that I'll have, at least the opportunity to go out and hopefully do that. It's really, I'm super grateful for it.
I know it's awkward because I know you and Alex were, like, openly campaigning to end up back in Pittsburgh with the Steelers, but we need to keep you the hell away from that. We need you to be like the first of many games that you're going to play at M&T Bank Stadium moving forward. That's the way we're going to need it, which I'm sure would be very awkward for your family. I have no doubt that would be uncomfortable, but we need to figure out a way to make that happen. We
Yeah.
need that in our lives.
Yeah, I'd be happy anywhere.
I know that's true. I know that's true. Eli, it jumps out at me, right, that, for everybody that was there, I mean, and all of us that have experienced it, that it is the single best moment of the sporting calendar every year. Like, it is Army-Navy. But yet there are people that still don't get it, right? Like, and I'm sure you guys are aware of prominent national college football voices that are, in favor of, but we should be playing, they'll say real games on this day. We should be playing, doing other things, or Kirk Herbstreit. There was no football today. Like, there was a lot of that going on. And there's a lot of talk about, the group of five maybe being left out of the playoff moving forward. Knowing what you guys have done, what is your reaction when you hear all of that, and how infuriating is it to suggest that a program like yours, who easily could have found your way into the playoff this year, should just be left out?
Yeah, it's definitely a little frustrating, and I feel it's a little disrespectful to us and the guys over at West Point, and I feel like we put on a very entertaining football game every year. Like, you go back and watch the last 5 Army-Navy games, there's some sort of super hyped up moment in the game that completely alters the game, and there's always drama in the game and fun things going on, and it's always entertaining. So I feel like that, first off, we put out a fantastic product each year, and in my opinion, it's the purest form of football is the game between Army-Navy, right? There's no NIL. It's just two teams that love each other playing smash mouth football for 4 quarters like that. And then you throw in the whole military side of things, and what we're playing for. It's such a beautiful game, and I just don't understand how people don't have their love and respect for the game that we do. But I think it's simple. I think that this game needs to stand alone, and where it's at in December in an outdoor stadium. I do think it needs to stand alone and have its own place. And I think that the current system that we have makes sense. I don't think we need to change anything. It works for both worlds. So. Correct.
Amen is what I'd like to say to all of that. A freaking man. And I'll add this to you. And obviously I was there this week, and I've been to a lot of them over the years. But some of the years that I haven't been there, it's because my family has a holiday gathering around this time. And it's something that can bring families together, is watching Army-Navy. It's something where, your aunt, who isn't a football fan at all, would say, I'll watch Army-Navy because of the respect that I have for these young men. I pray that we don't screw this up, that we understand that some things matter a little bit more than just, how much money can we squeeze out of a playoff game. All right, I'm grandstanding now. You don't have to worry about that. Eli, I got to imagine, right? Do you go to the bag of tricks for the bowl game now? Like, now that it's the last one, like Alex joked about asking for some defensive snaps after the play he made. Do you campaign ahead, to throw the ball in this one? I'd like to do you try to pull everything out of the bag of tricks in the final game?
Yeah, that would be fun. I've been joking with our safeties coach for the last 2 years about putting me in for a play at safety. So who knows? Maybe I'll get one play at safety. Going back to my high school football days would be funny, but we'll see. That'll be enjoyable.
And I know for you guys, it's a big deal. It's about making another statement against a Big 12 team, like you did it a year ago. It's maybe a reminder for all of these ghouls that say things like, well, we got to worry about the safety of players. Like, you guys just beat Oklahoma last year. Right?
Yep.
They're in the playoff right now. And I know that's a big deal to you guys to make that statement again, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's I feel like every game is for us to an extent, and I think a lot of the time that's because people will win games, but people still don't. It feels like they still don't think much of us sometimes and think we're capable. But I think we go out and have that little chip on our shoulder and that we want to go and show that we are.
Man, Eli Heidenreich, I can't tell you how much I've enjoyed watching you play football these 4 years, and how awesome it's been, and all the records that you've set and continue to break. There's got to still be one that you can get before it's over. I know you have basically all of them now, but there's got to still be one more that you can get before it's all said and done. Can you remind everybody how they can follow you on Twitter and Instagram?
Yeah, I think I'm at Heidenreich44 on Twitter and Instagram.
Eli, congratulations on everything you've accomplished. May there be one more awesome win in it before you head out. We look forward to chatting you as you continue on in your football career. Thank you for taking the time for us once more, and congratulations again.
Sure. Thank you, Glenn.
Eli Heidenreich with us here on GCR after a huge win for Navy over Army, and again making history. Back-to-back 10-win seasons for the first time in Navy history. I could do about 30 minutes on that topic that we were discussing. The list of the ghouls continues to grow. Joel Klatt from Fox argued that college football shouldn't be like the NCAA tournament. No one wants to see a Cinderella in football. And then he went as far as to say the NCAA tournament actually stinks and is not fair. And again, it's very hard for me to figure out where the line is between people who are saying things because it's not even that I think directly that they're being paid to, but I think they believe they're being paid to because they know where the money is and they know that the Sun Belt Conference isn't what they profit off of. They profit off of big-time college football, and they know the people in big-time college football don't want to share the money. So whether it's that some of these folks are being told or whether they just think, this is a problem that we have all the time. A lot of times we'll talk about access journalism where it's not even that you're being threatened. It's about the implication that maybe if you are too critical of something, you might then be ostracized by the organization that you're covering. So there's no threat. There's no, you better stop saying mean things about us. It's just, I don't know. If I say this, they might be mad at me. And I worry that there's an access journalism aspect to it with these ghouls, the Kirk Herbstreit. I can't believe Kirk Herbstreit said, it's a shame we don't have any football today.
When did he say that?
It was in a podcast he did this.
I'll find it. It's not that urgent.
And then I don't even remember who the dope was that said something about the safety of the players.
Oh, yeah.
I wish I could remember it.
Was that sounds like something Feinbaum would have.
I don't think it was Feinbaum. I don't remember who it was. God, it was so stupid. And the guy Josh Pate, who's like, that's a stupid argument. I just don't think they should be in because they haven't earned it. Like, I don't, this ghoulishness towards the idea of everyone in college football having a chance to win a championship. Now, it can only be the pre-selected teams. They're allowed to, but yours aren't. It's gross. I mean, it's poisonous. No one has made a compelling argument yet. The most compelling argument is, frankly, I can't believe I'm going to say this, it's Griffin's awful argument, which we practiced beforehand. He made an even worse version of it before the show. It's I just selfishly want to see this team. That's the best argument, which is not a good argument. But it's better than all of the other arguments, which are, I don't know how to say, I just don't want it, so I think I'm going to try to say something that's intelligent.
this is what we have. It's 12 teams.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see the 12 teams that are deemed to be the best. Unfortunately, it's not going to be like basketball because basketball is unique where you could play 6 games in 6 days.
Yep.
It's very unique. You can't compare. I'd love to have a 200 team college football tournament.
I would not. I don't want that.
But it's just not realistic. And this is I think this is pretty close to doing the best of with what they can. Have a bracket.
They are creating
December.
a problem that doesn't exist. Now, if they think they're solving for the problem of the bowl games, then I do think that they'll expand the college football playoff to try to save bowl games. In the name of saving bowl games that we have had long-term, with all respect, I don't think they're concerned about saving even the military bowl, which I like. But I do think that they want to save the Alamo Bowl or the Holiday Bowl or some of these bowl games that have been around for a long time. And in the name of that, expanding the playoff by all means. But we don't need a bigger playoff. We don't. The teams have had the chance. They didn't earn it. They had the opportunity. Spare me Notre Dame, man. They can join a conference. They don't want to. They lost 2 games. They didn't get a chance to win a conference championship. They beat Spare me. We're making a problem that doesn't exist. There is no controversy. We want there to be one. Because controversy gets attention. It sells. So we're trying to create a controversy where no controversy exists. There is no controversy. These 12 teams are fine. They're fine. Uniquely, there's a second group of 5 team that's in this year because the ACC sucked and had a terrible solution for a tiebreaker. But that also nullifies your arguments against the group of 5 because Tulane literally beat the ACC champion.
It's the ACC's fault.
You're mad at the ACC, and you're taking it out on the wrong people.
That was the one thing that Herbstreit said right. He said we should just put Miami in the ACC championship. He did
that part, that the ACC. And by the way, now what if Miami loses? I guess they would have lost to Virginia, and we just would have put Virginia in, so then we have no problem. I guess that
Virginia beat them twice, or
yeah.
They would have had legitimate.
But yeah, it is what it is. But there is no group of 5 problem. It does not exist. You're just either poisoned by your relationships with the networks and their relationships with the massive conferences that don't want to share the money, that realize they're now giving $8 million to lesser leagues, or you just want to say something contrarian for the sake of what you think is contrarian. It's not even contrarian, as we're learning. And it's punching down. And you're pathetic. You're pathetic. All of them. They're all ghouls. Every team in the sport should have at least the chance to win the championship, even if we know they're not going to. It's not hard to figure that out. We know that the Jets weren't going to win the Super Bowl this year, but I'll be damned if we didn't create a system that gave them a chance to do it anyway. Because that's how sports works.
Well, and it's like when we talked about, we're not going to have Maryland basketball to care about in February. No. Well, I mean, that's
there is a world they could.
Yeah.
They could go to the Big Ten tournament, win
6 games,
6 games in 6 days, and win 6. They could. We know they're not going to, but they're going to do it anyway. You're ghouls. All of you. Shameless. It's bullshit. There is no problem. You don't know how to say out loud, the ACC screwed up. But your network is league partners with the ACC, or you might want a job related to the ACC. So instead, you take it out on the Sun Belt. This is the NCAA. And North Carolina committed a crazy infraction, so we're going to penalize the shit out of Eastern Michigan. Because we're not going to do it to the schools that make us money. We're going to do it to the schools to try to make an example out of them that aren't our moneymakers. There is no group of 5 problem. You suck. This year, 2 got in because the ACC sucked. and had a terrible system. I mean, they could have solved their own problems. It's gross, man. It's gross the way we're talking about it. Sorry, Joe Serpico. I apologize.
Bud Elliott was the guy who said it was a safety issue.
Who on three?
He does some, he does cover three
Cover
from
three?
CBS Sports, like a CBS Sports podcast.
Safety issue. God, we will say anything. All right, I'm sorry, Joe. It is Tuesday, and on Tuesdays...
Unless if Joe didn't already hang up.
Yeah, right. I wouldn't have blamed him. On Tuesdays, we preview Waiver-Wire Wednesday. Joining us now, he is our PressBox college football analyst. He's our friend Joe Serpico. What's going on, buddy? How are you?
Gentlemen, how we doing? I got to agree with you. As a Temple alum, so one of those G5 schools that was out there, I would like to see them get an opportunity. It's never going to happen unless I'm playing the damn video game, but the opportunity is there. So I'm all with it.
It's not hard to figure this out. Imagine a sport where you say, we're going to have this number of teams, but only this number of teams are allowed to have a chance. It's effing mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing. And then these people make arguments like, well, let's create a different a national championship for these guys. We did that once. It's the FCS championship. That exists. We've got it. It happens. These schools aren't part of that. It's unbelievable. All right, Joe, let's get into it. I'm going to start here. A week ago, I had this crazy thought. I've got two quarterbacks. They're Caleb Williams, they're Bo Nix. And Bo Nix, for example, was very good this week. But they've been inconsistent. I never know exactly what I'm getting from them. And I happened to look at my waiver wire, and I saw that there was a guy on the waiver wire who was facing the Jets this week. And I said, this is reckless to do in the playoffs, but I'm going to pick up Trevor Lawrence, and I'm going to start him over my two quarterbacks. And had I not done that, even with a great game from Bo Nix, even with a great game, I would have been eliminated in the quarterfinals. So I'm going to ask you a crazy question. Is there someone out there this week that could be this week's Trevor Lawrence?
Ooh, to put up almost a 50 burger?
I mean, maybe not specifically 50, but someone
if there is, yeah.
Someone that might be. This is the crazy part to me. Is there a quarterback that could be? I think that this could exist at quarterback or at tight end. Is there someone on your waiver wire that even if you're in the semifinals of your league, might be a better option than the guy you're intending to play?
The first one that pops to mind, at least at quarterback, is he looked god awful last night. Tua Tagovailoa against the Bengals defense this week. We've talked about it all season long, just how dreadful the Bengals defense has been. So if you want to have one of those matches, we've seen
notably,
last night
that game is in Miami, so the Dolphins have a chance.
That's exactly what I was just about to say. I was like, we have seen a million times before when he gets out in the cold, he's one quarterback, but when he's been in Miami, he's a completely different player. So that's exactly how I was going to say it. So since that game is in Miami, going against the Bengals defense, it's two teams that have nothing to play for anymore. I'm expecting might be one of the bigger shootouts we might get all season long. So if there is a guy who can, let's say, have a 3-4 touchdown game that is definitely sitting on waiver wire, I do think it's Tua. That's your guy out there.
Where would you rank him? Because I do want to throw Tyler Shuck into the conversation again, only because he's facing the Jets and he's been pretty good. Where would you rank those two guys?
I have bear with me. I'll pull them up for you right here. So I have Tua right now at 16. I have him just behind basically some of the guys you just mentioned. I just right behind Bo Nix, Trevor Lawrence, Baker Mayfield, all kind of in that same range right there. Shuck, I got two spots behind actually. So they're both in, let's say, your top 20 guys for this week. And I could totally see your reasoning why for playing both guys there. Now, I would definitely go with Tua over Shuck if I had to pick between the two, just because of the matchup against the Bengals. But I could see absolutely why you would want to go that route.
Of my three, just selfishly, of Bo Nix, Caleb Williams, and Trevor Lawrence, who would you be playing this week?
Bo Nix. Say it again. Bo Nix,
Caleb Williams, and Trevor Lawrence.
I have Williams right now ranked the highest, but I only have him 2 spots ahead of Tua, and then I have my thing is Knicks. We could just see one of those games where it's ground and pound. You know, the most infuriating thing about the Jaguars, and this is not just this year, it's been a thing of, you know, many years now, is they'll have that fantastic game that they had this past week and watch them just come back with a stinker this week. So that's my only fear about Trevor Lawrence there. But if I have Caleb first, if you're going to, you know, put me in order, Caleb, then Lawrence, then Knicks.
I did also pick up Trevor Lawrence last week, so it feels dirty to go away from him, but he is playing in Denver, and I have Jacoby Brissett as well. Are you still high on Jacoby Brissett? You play Brissett over
Team Brissett, right. Ride or die at this point. He's my rider. I have him at 9 this week going against the Falcons, and actually I think this is a week where we might see the Cardinals have been on the wrong end of a lot of these games here. I think the Cardinals actually pick up a win this week against there's a lot of home dogs that I kind of like this week, and that's one of them.
Let's talk about Bill. Let's talk about how everybody committed to Chris Rodriguez only for all of a sudden this is the Bill game. I assume you got to pick him up. I think basically he was released by everybody. I assume you got to pick him back up. I don't know if you're playing him or not this week, but I mean he's the guy, right?
That's the thing. Is he the guy, or is this just because that Chris Rodriguez was out this week, and then we're going to be back to those situation where it's back to the 3-headed monster? The matchup's not good going against the Eagles' stout run D, so that doesn't help you out either. Do you want to pick him up? I guess. It's also the time of the year now. You want to pick up a guy, sure, but now it's like you're picking up guys really that you're trying to start. Would you start? Would you start Bill over? And I'm trying to think what guys would you probably potentially start him over, just because, again, I would have a hard time starting a good guy that I know if Chris Rodriguez is back is going to be part of committee. If Rodriguez is out, maybe then it's a different beast. Then you kind of talk to him being your back-end RB2 potentially. But if it's another situation where Rodriguez is back to muddle everything up, there's really no point in having any of the three at that point. I would be trying to find elsewhere.
Where are you ranking Darren Waller going into this week after a 2-touchdown game?
You have to move him into the at least startable tight ends. Let's put him at, let's say, I have him right now right at the end, right at tight end 12 there. So, if he's out there, he's absolutely somebody. I think I saw he was available in over 35% of leagues or something like that, which is mind-boggling to me. If he's somehow out there, you start him over, let's see, I have him over Dalton Schultz. I have him right there in line with Tyler Warren. You want him over, let's say, your Theo Johnsons, your Dalton Kincaids, guys that are kind of been hit or miss all year. I think that Waller actually is one of the more consistent guys that you can have at tight end.
It's I guess at this point, I mean, it's not just, and it's one thing if it's just the touchdowns, it's also the targets, obviously, that are significant when it comes to Darren Waller. We've got Joe Serpico with us previewing Waiver-Wire Wednesday, PressBox Fantasy Football Analyst. Joe, I know I saw your column this week. There's really not a whole lot to say. I understand your point is like, at this point, you probably have the guys that you have. So Caleb Johnson was a name that came up a bunch. Is there a thing there?
I would love that in Dynasty, but I think that's still more. You're going to see the two main guys there with Warren and Gainwell. But by the way, Gainwell, I think should be the guy that just actually gets more and more touches moving forward. So maybe they do want to mix in Johnson down the stretch, because Johnson was supposed to be more of the thumper. That was the reason why they drafted him. So now that we get into this colder weather, maybe they do feature him a little bit more, but he's just not somebody you can rely on for fantasy purposes.
Anybody else that's like worth? Again, I guess we need to have a conversation about defenses, because defenses are relevant at this point. What are your plays defense wise?
Bear with me, because I know the one was we talked about a couple weeks ago was the Saints, who have, if you've started them, you are very happy with the results on that so far. So it's more or less just find those matchups. So I highly doubt the Texans are out there, but this is like the cream of the crop. Them going against the Raiders this week, that is as juicy as it gets. a more mid-tier guy or defenses, let's say I mentioned the Saints. If the Vikings are out there, you can go against the Giants, vice versa on that as well. If the Giants are out there, you can play them against the Vikings. Going down the line here, you could potentially play the 49ers against Phillip Rivers and the Colts. There was a couple of plays that Rivers almost threw up today for the defense. So, just a pick six away from those points being something huge for you there, too. I kind of like the Panthers going against the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers' offense looks to have kind of faded out down the stretch, even with all their guys back. So there are definitely some options out there. Call me crazy, but maybe you want to take a super flyer on the Titans going against a defense or an offense without Patrick Mahomes there too. Things could stutter for the Chiefs. So you do have some options when it comes to defense this week. Next week is when it gets a little bit more dicey. It is more one-sided than this week where you got a whole bunch of matchups.
With the report, hang on real quick. With the reports that Woody Marks would have been able to return, I assume there's no value in Jawar Jordan, correct?
Yeah, that's literally one of the situations. If Marks comes back this week, it's funny. 13 straight games, Marks has left the game and has came back. It's one of those crazy stats. 13 straight games. As somebody who owns him, keep getting that notification that he's out, losing my mind, and then he comes back in like he did this past weekend. He came back in and scored that funky touchdown. No, of all the guys this week, to be honest, the big hitter I think is going out there getting Michael Carter for the Cardinals. I think he's the last man standing at this point, just him and DeMarcado. So, I'm one of those that's you're going all – if there's anybody to go all in on this week with whatever fab you got left.
Is it? But, as you just said, DeMarcado's there. So, do you know that Michael Carter –
he's there, but I think he's not getting – just past week alone.
Yeah.
He only got 7 snaps compared to the 53 for Carter. So, I think Carter's going to get a ton of the look this week. Maybe DeMarcado's going to get mixed in there. But I think Carter is – that guy that if you're looking for a flex guy to potentially put in and you have that fab left over, that there's no reason to hold on to at this point. Carter's the guy to just dump it out
on. Back to defenses. I've been riding the Seahawks defense. They've been a big reason why I've gotten to where I am. They're playing the Rams on Thursday night. Do I just stick it out with Seattle, or do we try to go for one of those streaming options that you threw out?
No, you don't stick it. I'm not trust. With that offense, they could easily put up a good 30 on you, put you in the negative real quick. So, no. I don't want to go against the Rams. I would avoid that at all costs.
Okay, got it.
You want to say congratulations, by the way? Do you want to? Joe?
Congratulations for what's that? Oh, you beat me, didn't you? I forgot. Yeah, I made a mistake in that. I thought I took. Not that it would have mattered. I thought I took Harrison out for Pollard, but it did not happen.
Oh, as it turns out, I didn't take Roma Dunze out either. So.
Oh, well, I noticed that as well, so I felt like maybe that was a trade there. But then it kind of stung a little bit because I am one of those owners that had Trevor Lawrence sitting on his bench. I started with Brissett over Lawrence there, though. That could have been maybe the difference. But
I got to combine 95 points from Kyle Pitts and Trey McBride this week. So
yeah,
that's
kind of wild.
That was fun. Kyle Pitts. He smashed the record for the most points ever scored by a tight end.
Jeez,
the guy that we've been waiting to do this for how many years now, and he finally did it.
Yep. I'm presumably going to have to start 3 of this group. I know Mike Evans is obvious, so take him off the list. So 2 of Cortland Sutton, Jawan Jennings, Terry McLaurin, and Christian Watson.
Well, Watson, the situation might be decided for you.
Maybe. We'll see.
So,
I think the reporting is that he might be fine.
Yeah, so I heard Watson, Jennings, Sutton, and who was the one in the middle there?
And McLaurin.
To be honest, I probably don't want to play McLaurin against the Eagles. Quinyon Mitchell is graded as the highest cornerback in the league right now, so that's probably I'm trying benching him. But then again, it all depends on Watson. If Watson's out, then it just again the decision is made for you.
Wait, so you're saying if Watson's out, it's him and McLaurin that I'm sitting of that group. I'm playing Evans, Sutton, and Jennings. All right.
Correct.
All right.
Yes.
All right. I understand. But
Evans is a no-brainer.
Yeah, Evans is a no-brainer. But what if Watson plays?
Then I still think it's Evans, Jennings.
Okay. Well, then why didn't you just say it that way? God.
I forgot about Evans, to be honest. I
think Evans. I was saying that you just said you said the Watson decision might be made for me, and I was like, wait, but what if it isn't?
My apologies. I was thinking you needed 3 of those 4. I forgot about Evans there.
You're good.
My tight end conundrum. I have Fannin. He plays Buffalo. I have Kincaid, who plays Cleveland, and then there's no Waller available, but Rondé Gadsden's available. Colby Parkinson. I don't know if Colston Loveland is also. Those are like the top tight ends out there. Hunter Henry is available too, but.
Just to give you how I ranked right now, I've got Fannin as tight end 6 this week. I have Parkinson's tight end 7. He was actually.
He's very touchdown dependent, though, right?
He is very touchdown dependent. That's the thing with him. Then again, with tight end is, that's kind of the case. Well, I do think that Fannin gets more action, away from the red zone. So maybe Fannin is the reason why I have him ranked a little bit higher. We do see him getting more look. But I do, like I said, I have one at 6 and the other one at 7. So, but it is between those two. I would just probably ride with Fannin. He's got me to this point, as opposed to Parkinson. You said it yourself. He's very touchdown dependent.
All right, Joe. Anything else on your mind for this week?
No, it's more of a, if you're still in it, congratulations. You did better than I did this year because I'm out of all 3 of my leagues this year. So we'll talk next week, and hopefully we got, I don't want to say hopefully, but maybe there's one more guy that can get us over the top for week 17.
At Joe Serp is how you follow him. PressBoxOnline.com is where you see all of his stuff. Joe Serpico, appreciate you, pal. We'll talk next week, all right?
Absolutely. Good luck to everyone out there.
Thanks, buddy. Joe Serpico, PressBox Fantasy Football Analyst. Hey. Don't know how I'm going to do here. I'm really going to trust Michael Carter. John and Little Rock, I apologize. I missed you. He said there's always football. I could watch the Premier League. No. But I do love March Madness. I'm not suggesting that the NFL season go into March. I just want, like, a couple more weeks out of it. Get us to March. Would be wonderful for me. That would be phenomenal.
Just reading John's.
Yeah, I was just trying to see if there's anything else that I need to do. Yeah, a lot of look. There's been a lot of conversation about the future of Army Navy. It's quite possible that if the college football playoff expands just to 16 teams, it might be that they don't need to. I mean, they might want to, but it might very well be that they don't need to. They could play the first round over 2 weeks, for example. And then in a world where if they were to do, let me try to lay this out. If they were to make the first round of the college football playoff 8 games, if they expanded to 16, they could, if they chose, essentially play games Tuesday and Wednesday of this week.
Playoff games?
Mm-hmm. Which would be awesome because we got nothing. Imagine pretending like
we got the
NBA
Ventures
Cup.
Salute to veterans Ventures something bowl. I think
it'd be awesome to play those games at those times. That'd be great. They could also conceivably, if they expanded it out over 2 weeks, start the night before Army Navy, play a game then. They could play a night game after Army Navy.
What about the Heisman? What do we do about the Heisman? Do we move the Heisman?
The Heisman, to me, could be moved in that scenario. I get why tradition. I would be less concerned about moving the Heisman than I would about Army Navy.
Well, now, I mean, just because this increases the chances that we're not going to have
the winner
guys
at the
ceremony.
It
already does feel like it's getting more and more watered down. But
yeah, I mean, it's a legitimate conversation. I'm not arguing with that, but I'm just. Like, if you have to sacrifice something, to me, it's the date of the Heisman ceremony. Also, I think a lot of people have argued, like, maybe the Heisman should be determined after the season is over. Like, that might be a better time for the Heisman. Yeah, right? Like, now, the fault with that, and we deal with this in college lacrosse, is that oftentimes you just pick the best player on the best team. Like, whoever wins, you just pick their best player. But you essentially do that a lot of years with the regular season, too. Like, Fernando Mendoza won the Heisman Trophy essentially because he was the best player on the best.
I thought you were a Pavia guy.
What do you mean?
I thought you were a big Diego Pavia guy. You wanted Diego Pavia.
You know my guy. I mean,
and you were on his side about
I really
everything.
don't get worked up about any of that. I really don't. I don't get like. Is it dumb? Yeah, it's dumb. Do I care? No, I don't. I don't care. I don't care what Diego Pavia is holding up on a sign at a.
He should have been in the playoff.
Care.
Yeah.
Sure. That all said, you could do all of this, span it over 2 weeks, and have like a football festival from the previous Friday to, and then for all of us that say, well, what if Army or Navy is in the playoff? You could purposely make sure their playoff game was the following Saturday when you scheduled it, so they could still play their standalone game the first weekend and then play in a playoff game. And somebody would say, well, isn't that an inherent disadvantage?
It's going to be great when we get Army-Navy 3 times in a year because we get the American
Championship, and then they play each other in the playoff?
They play each other in the American Championship, the Army-Navy game, and then in the college football playoff. Right. Yeah, 3 times.
I don't think that's going to happen, but, if that happens, that'd be great. You could do that if you expand just to 16. If you get to 24, that's when everybody says, well, you're going to have to change the date of Army-Navy. The number of idiots, too, that are like, play one playoff game at 12, another playoff game, and leave Army-Navy in between. Like, again, not even thinking about, right, what if Army and Navy were in the playoff?
Well, no, this is the Power 5 only.
Right, exactly right. We've gotten rid of all. By the way, it's the Power 2. It's kind of objectively hilarious that we still
Tech's pretty good.
We still refer to the
Holding
group
that
of
conference
5.
up by themselves.
We'll see. They might be. We'll find out.
Miami's carrying the ACC.
Yeah, it's the group of 2. That's what it is. It's the group of 2. It's not a group of 5. It's a group of 7. We're just, for some reason, still letting the other 2 masquerade as though they were power conferences.
Because they're good at basketball.
Yeah. But there is this entire conversation about, well, what do you do? And there is no correct answer. And I did have some conversations with some folks when I was at Army-Navy. And the 2 things that are important, one, like USAA puts a lot of their resources. Like this to them is the Super Bowl. And that's a major company. USAA throws everything at Army-Navy. So they are not like the people that say, well, maybe we take Thanksgiving weekend and we make all the other teams agree that Army and Navy get to have the 12 o'clock window on Saturday to be a standalone game. They're not looking for that. That's not when they say standalone, they want it to be like a bowl game that gets national attention. They don't want it to be that we're paying attention to 60 other things. And also, you're never getting Ohio State and Michigan to sign up for moving the game off of 12 o'clock. You're just not getting that.
Well, so, then just give Army-Navy the 3 or 4 o'clock.
Yeah. There's no, but that's not, USAA doesn't want that. Like, the people that have the money, they don't want that. They don't want it to be that you're giving them, they want the weekend. They don't want 3 hours. They want the whole weekend. Will they win out? Probably not. But they do spend money elsewhere in college football, and so their opinion does become relevant in the conversation. So just sort of worth monitoring. But the idea that some people had, well, just move it to week 0 and then it can be standalone there. That requires everybody else to agree not to play in week 0, which as of recently has not been the case at all. Most teams have, not most teams, but lots of teams wanted to play in week 0. And I still don't know that they would be on board with it. I still don't know that the powers that be would say, yeah, we'll do this. So we'll see. That conversation will continue. Come back in, go over 5 plays, tidbit and two-bit to wrap it up. It's Tuesday edition of Glenn Clark Radio. Get in the game with Volo Sports. With over 15 sports to choose from, join a league or grab a Volo membership for discounted play, free daily pickups, fitness classes, and exclusive events. But the best part? A portion of every league fee helps the Volo Kids Foundation provide free sports to over 5,000 kids across Baltimore City each year. Don't miss out. Early pricing for the winter season ends December 12th. Final registration deadline is January 15th. Sign up now at volosports.com/Baltimore.
Get ready to hit the ultimate holiday jackpot at Live Casino during the live action $1 million giveaway. Every Friday through December 26th, we'll draw 25 lucky cash winners, but only one winner each Friday will advance to the final rounds on December 26th, where you could win $1 million in just 3 spins. Come make your million, only at Live Casino. At Erndale Mills, must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The weather's getting cooler, so when you and your family are picking out a place to dine, be it lunch or dinner, let's make it nice and easy. Now, with 2 great locations, the Costas Inn remains your #1 destination. Whether you want to get steamed crabs and the full Costas menu out at the original location at 4100 North Point Boulevard, or sample the complete menu minus the steamed crabs at the new location above the grandstand at the Timonium Racetrack, Costas is your place to go. Check out the website, CostasInn.com, for a look at the menu, and if you want to plan that crab feast, call 410-477-1975. The Costas Inn.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
Looking for Baltimore's premier waterfront dining experience? Head to Nick's Fish House, located in the Baltimore Peninsula. Enjoy crabs all year long, plus happy hour Monday through Thursday from 3 to 6. Planning a celebration? From rehearsal dinners to corporate crab feasts, Nick's is the spot to make it unforgettable. And the fun doesn't stop there. Live music fills the air every Thursday through Sunday. Check out the full lineup at nicksfishhouse.com. Nick's, it's where Baltimore comes to eat, drink, and play by the water.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4. Available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
Coming back in here with Glenn and the other guy, Garrett, whatever his name is. You know who they are.
Well, it's up right now at PressBoxOnline.com, and we will be rolling out the print issue of PressBox over the course of the next 24 hours to your Baltimore area High's Dairy stores. And you will find out that our 2025 Mo Gabba Sports Person of the Year is one of the 4 people featured on the cover of the new print issue of PressBox.
Really? Wait.
So, I mean, yeah, look, I mean, there's no need for that. It's actually, if you go to the website, you can see which one of the 4 it is. But I just wanted to share. When the new print issue hits newsstands, it will be a celebration. Uniquely this year, we kind of struggled with who was most deserving of being Mo Gabba Sports Person of the Year because no one ran away with it, right?
I thought it was going to be Glenn Clark.
Yeah. I think when we talked about it, I said, I feel like if only we had remember we cut the show to 1 hour. If only we had done that, like instead of doing 2 hours
I thought
every
you were
day.
gonna say if only we had done 3 hours instead.
No, failing to keep my word.
Oh,
I think really
hurt
hurt
that's
me.
what docked you?
Really hurt me.
Really?
In the race for Sports Person of the Year. So we kind of we were centered on 4 candidates during the course of the year. Derek Queen, Baltimore native.
Good one.
I'm from Baltimore, that's why. Game winner in the NCAA tournament. I know we kind of forgot about all that because, there was a coaching or an athletic department
overhaul.
Turmoil that was brewing amongst all of it. Trevor Rogers, who was deservedly most valuable Oriole and one of the great stories of the year in not just in baseball, but obviously for a team that wasn't good. Blake Horvath, who, at a point we thought might nose his way into the Heisman Trophy conversation. Didn't end up doing that, and Navy, really kind of by no fault of their own because they were just the victim of a tiebreaker system, was left out of the American Championship picture, and so that was tough. And Kyle Hamilton, who it's very difficult to define with statistics, but we are watching become the next great Ravens defender right in front of our eyes. So the cover of our annual best of issue of PressBox will feature those 4 athletes. All 4 will be featured on the cover. And I don't know if we've posted the cover yet anywhere. I know we posted the story of who won. Yeah, we haven't posted that yet. But yeah, we have named our 2025 Mo Gabba Sports Person of the Year, and it is Kyle Hamilton. Kyle Hamilton is our Mo Gabba Sports Person of the Year. And
it's a good pick.
Yeah, I mean, it is. Like if somebody said, if your answer was, I think it should have been Blake Horvath, I can't argue with you. It was really tough this year, in a year that no one was overwhelming, for us to make a choice. And, the Ravens might still miss the playoffs too.
Why would you put that out there?
I mean, it's the reality. Like, part of it was like, I thought Trevor Rogers was a great candidate, but the reality was the Orioles were very bad. It's very hard to pick someone from a bad team to be the sports person of the year. Blake Horvath was great and was absolutely, like, time-wise, maybe if we got together this week and made the decision, maybe we would have defaulted to Blake Horvath, although he wasn't great against Army, but they won. And, like, maybe given a little dip for the Ravens, we made the decision 2 weeks ago. Before the Pittsburgh game.
Gotcha.
Or before the Cincinnati game. Before Thanksgiving was when we had to make the final decision.
And won 5 in a row.
Yeah, the momentum was there, and the defense had turned around, and we had sort of credited Kyle Hamilton as being the reason that the defense had turned around. And the part where Kyle Hamilton has ascended into a star, I stand by that part. He has ascended into the next great Ravens defender. And so I have no problem with the fact that Kyle Hamilton was our choice. But we did choose to put all 4 of them on the cover to kind of reflect how difficult the choice was this year. That uniquely, there's a lot of good candidates every year, but this year it was a uniquely difficult choice, and we felt that all 4 were worthy of being represented on the cover. So that'll be rolling out tomorrow. You can get it for free at your Baltimore area Highs Dairy stores. You'll be able to read it all, and it's inside a celebration of the top people, performances, and moments of 2025, and we're very proud of the issue every year. But you can go read right now the story of why Kyle Hamilton was our choice to be the Mo Gabba Sports Person of the Year for 2025. So congratulations to Kyle Hamilton, and go check that out right now at PressBoxOnline.com. 5 plays that told the story of the Ravens' win over the Bengals. I'll start at number 5. Number 5 for me was the first interception, and it's easy to forget about this one, in part because this was less like a remarkable play and more of just a bad throw where Joe Burrow throws the ball too tall for Jamar Chase. It goes off his hand, and the ball's just waiting there for Marlon Humphrey. But keep in mind, they were at the 29-yard line at that point. They were going to score, and they were going to score the first points of the game. So while I don't think it was quite as impactful as another play that happened where they would have taken the lead, it is still relevant in that they were going to take the lead and play from ahead. Instead, Marlon Humphrey comes up with an interception, and also part of the reason why he can't be higher on the list is because, the Ravens gave the ball right back. They didn't capitalize and score points. They ended up, this was where the throw went off Zay Flowers' hands and turned into an interception. But still, it was the difference in points. Points came off the board thanks to this play, so it's number 5.
Yeah, that one was difficult for I left that one off the list. I went with the 4th and 4 coming out of halftime, so the Bengals were moving the ball.
Yep.
They were moving it pretty good. I mean, they hit Jamar Chase, was it once or twice for a couple of big plays, and then they decided to go for it on 4th down here, and they had to get a massive stop. I think Draymond Jones had the pressure up the middle, and it forced Burrow to get the ball out really quick, and he threw an incompletion to Mike Gesicki.
Yep.
So that was my number 5. I mean, they had to, this was we didn't know how dead the Bengals were, but they showed a little bit of life here, and they had to get a stop. So I decided to put that one in over the over that first half interception because to your point, like it didn't lead directly to points, and
but
the
it did
Ravens
take points off the board. That's relevant. Number 4, it's funny because a lot of times I'll say it's not just the touchdowns. Well, this week the offensive plays that I included were the touchdowns. Number 4 is the one before the half. And again, it's because it's the difference in 3 or 7 points. Like, this is a 4-point swing. With 23 seconds left from the 28-yard line, there is no world where you assume that you're getting a touchdown there. You can, but there is no assumption of that. That's a massive play to turn that into a touchdown in a spot where you no longer have the whole playbook available to you. You can't run the ball in this spot if you're going to score a touchdown. Like, it just takes something that remarkable, that precise, a spectacular throw and catch. And so you stole 4 points there going into the half. That's the difference between it being 10-0 and 14-0. It's my number 4 on the list.
I had both touchdowns as well. I put that one higher. Put that one a little bit higher. I went with the 3rd and 7 touchdown, the dump off to Rasheen Ali.
That's number 3 for me.
It was again just another massive play. I think all together, Linderbaum and Lamar checking the blitz and
the check.
And
absolutely
an easy dump off here to Ali, and obviously he did the rest. Just again a big 3rd down conversion and the first score of the game.
Yep.
So I made it 4.
Yep. It's my number 3 for the reason that, one, it was the first score of the game. And at a time where the Ravens were struggling and given the totality of everything, it was starting to feel irreparably broken. It was starting. I saw a picture of Joe Biden at the Eagles game on Twitter, and I was.
This past week or from.
No, he was at the Eagles game this week.
Oh, he was?
He was there. The Eagles played the Raiders. Nobody knows anything about it. But Joe Biden was there. And I damn nearly, there was a tweet that was like, former President Joe Biden is at the Eagles game today. And I damn near retweeted it with the caption, "Meanwhile in Cincinnati, for the Ravens offense, it's Jover."
Classic.
Really glad I didn't. Really glad I didn't. Because there's old Joe. God love you. God love you, Joe. There he is. There he is looking around. Somebody did an interview with him.
He's taking in the game.
Yeah.
Good game to go to. Maybe.
Yeah. I have plenty of thoughts on the subject that I'm not going to choose to share. But anyway.
He looked like he was having a great time.
I'm sure he was. Unburdened by what was the phrase that Kamala likes? Unburdened by what has been, or something like that. That's what Joe Biden looked like. None of this matters to me, man.
Based on the way we were talking yesterday, I know obviously you're gonna have this one higher. I went with the sack, the Tavius Robinson sack on 3rd and 4 of the Bengals.
Most certainly higher on my list.
Yeah, knocked them out of field goal range. This one did in fact take points off the board, and it was a great play. I had I put the touchdown right before half at number 2. I felt like that was
my number 2.
It was big to get 7 points there right before.
My number 2. Is the interception return for a touchdown. And again, it's just the difference to me in one play being in the fourth quarter of a 17-0 game and the other play being the first drive of the game when you had just gotten – in the last time you played this team, they had moved up and down the field at will against you in the second half. And it was looking like there was a chance they were going to be able to do it again. I get it. It's a massive swing to score 7 points on a defensive play when they were marching in, but the Bengals, to me, look broken. I know that it's almost objectively hilarious for me to suggest that I don't think the Ravens were blowing it, even if they had given up points there, because,
they love blowing it.
We've seen that, but the Bengals just didn't look like the team that was going to be doing that. I thought that the Tavius Robinson thing was massive.
That was your number one?
Yes, 100%.
I went with the pick six. I mean, they were scoring a touchdown there. It was going to be 17-7. And then
they might have scored a touchdown there. You don't know that either. They just got in a fourth down stop earlier in the
I know, but they had to get a stop at some point.
Well, they probably would have kicked the
field.
field. I guess they would have kicked the field goal on fourth down if they had gotten to it because they needed 3 scores.
Pick six was pick six was definitely because it came right after that horrendous offensive sequence from the Ravens where like it looked like it was starting to like it could have if the Bengals scored there they were going to start spiraling because they were running well with Henry and then all of a sudden they take a sack, near sack, and get themselves way backed up. So I went with the pick six.
I get it.
And Calvin Noah hands it back. You see that? Did you
see
what happened?
I was aware of it. Also, the official play-by-play recording of that play
makes no sense.
What are we doing here? That play officially goes down as for 3rd and goal at the Baltimore 8, Alohi Gilman 84-yard interception return. Tyler loop kick. What in the – there are things that we get outraged about. This is outrageous. How is that what the NFL translates as the official recording of that play? How?
Well, it still sounds like a big play.
There's so much missing there. Everything else, we got to know who the center is, who the holder is. We didn't bother to include who intercepted the ball. We got to rewrite some things, dog. We got to fix that.
Call Florio back and say
it is outrageous that is how that play is officially recorded. But, yep, my number 1 is Tavius Robinson, and that's my number 2. We'll get him up at glennclarkradio.com here momentarily. Let's get a tidbit. Tidbit is brought to you today by Project Game Day, which will be back this Sunday night. Come join us after Ravens Patriots. PressBoxOnline.com/game day. Myself, Rita, Casey. Oh, hello. I'm told the return of Stetka, Griffin, and former Ravens linebacker Tyus Bass. Late night on it. Tyus Bass?
My
What
cousin.
is Tyus Bass? Dude, I have been awake since 3 in the morning. I don't have it in me. I got to get a nap. I got 2 basketball games to call tonight. I got to get a nap today. Yeah, I got to get a nap in. And then I got to do it again.
Though, right?
Then I got to do it again tomorrow morning. Back up at 3 a.m. 2 basketball, doubleheader tonight, and then 3 a.m. again.
Jeez. Yeah, I guess you are taking
Glamorous life of doing this for 20 years.
Are they both playing Gettysburg?
No. One of the men are playing Wilson.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, yeah.
Phoenix.
Thank you. You're right.
Let me know if you need a color.
They played Towson earlier this year.
Yeah. Let me know if you need a color guy.
I will let you know. I think I have one. I don't know. Whatever, man. I gotta go to bed.
I can name mascots all day.
The moral of the story is Tyus Bowser will also be there on Sunday night. You should come hang out with us for Project Game Day. Oh boy. It's all brought to you by 1-800-GAMBLER, HelpMyGamblingProblem.org, the Costas Inn and Live Casino and Hotel.
Derek Queen's high school teammate, Cooper Flagg.
Yes, the
dropped
youngest.
40 points. Oh, yes, youngest previous record held by previous youngest player to drop
Kobe.
40 in a game. No.
Kevin Garnett.
Nope.
I don't know who.
Nope.
I don't know.
No.
Just tell
That's
me.
not that guy. I don't think he played basketball.
I have to go to bed.
LeBron James.
Oh, okay.
Also the 4th teenager in NBA history to drop 40 and have 5 assists in a game. 2 other teenagers to drop 40 and go along with 5 assists.
Okay.
Named one of them already.
Kobe?
No.
I was going to say, he didn't assist the ball. Kevin Garnett?
No.
LeBron James?
LeBron James.
How about
there you
that?
go. And 2 others.
2 other teenagers.
2 other youngsters.
2 other teenagers. How about...
Official line for Flagg was 42 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 blocks as well.
Okay.
Pretty good.
How about...
Should have freaking been a wizard.
Dog, if he was a wizard, he would suck.
No, he wouldn't have.
How about
He would have
Durant?
saved the franchise. Yes, Kevin Durant.
Okay. I don't know.
Also still active.
Also still active. Still.
And he'll be active for quite a while. He's still pretty young.
Oh, he's still. Shea wasn't a teenager, right?
No, not Shea.
Ant?
Yes, Anthony Edwards. Durant, Edwards, LeBron, and Cooper Flagg now.
All right,
40 and 5 as teenagers.
Very good. He went to Duke, so he can go F off. All right.
Well, yeah, that is true.
Here's what's coming up totally tubular-wise. Tubular is brought to you, you know, we already talked about the print issue of PressBox, didn't we? But we haven't talked about Live Casino and Hotel. Best place to watch every big game, all the big events, inside sports and social at Live Casino and Hotel, Maryland. Towson, Kansas, tonight, 9 o'clock.
Let's go.
Go get them, boys.
I
Go
got a
get
good
'em.
feeling.
Yeah? What's the line?
I don't know.
20. I'll say 26.5.
That's generous. I mean, they haven't been all that. 15.5.
Ooh. Ooh. That's almost stinky, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's almost. Huh. Anyway, yeah, Towson, Kansas.
I don't think they're going to win.
I don't think they're going to win, but go get them. Go get them. It's tonight at 9 o'clock on ESPN2. The Morgan women are playing right now against LSU on ESPN+. So, again, go get them. That's happening now. As Griffin mentioned, another bowl game tonight, the Salute the Veterans Bowl between Troy and Jacksonville State, 9 o'clock on ESPN.
Thank you, Veterans.
Thank you, Veterans. Agreed. Monumental for Capitals Wild at 8 o'clock, and the vaunted NBA Cup Championship. It's a championship.
Tonight's the championship?
It's tonight.
Is that the only? It's a standalone NBA game, then, right?
Spurs, Knicks, 8:30 on Amazon Prime.
You should have had me
Video.
guess.
Yeah, sure. I gotta go. Non-sports highlights.
Sorry, I forgot that's what I do on.
Yeah, for this segment.
Well, I started looking into the Towson, Towson stats and stuff, and I was like, maybe we could. There's something I think. Hard Knocks, we got that. Netflix has now season 6 of My Next Guest Needs No Introduction with David Letterman.
Okay.
Guests include Michael B. Jordan, Jason Bateman, and your favorite Jimmy Donaldson.
Who's Jimmy Donaldson?
Mr. Beast. Oh God! How do you not know? Jeez, why are you trying to break our minds?
I'm really not trying to. That is so beneath David Letterman to do that. That is. I guess that's a net. But Mr. Beast is a Amazon, isn't he?
Yeah, the show he did was on Amazon.
God, that is so embarrassing. Like that's beneath David
He
Letterman.
does some good stuff, I think.
Does he?
I mean, like he plants trees and
Okay.
gives money away.
Yeah.
In theory.
In theory. Keep going.
And does entertaining-ish stuff.
Sure.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah,
Very good.
David Letterman with Mr. Beast.
Nothing.
You can watch that.
Yeah. Thanks. There were so many sports questions last night. I didn't get to be there, which is a bummer because, it wasn't a bummer. I was doing something wonderful, so I'm not upset about it. But
Were they able to survive or
no?
No.
No, they struggled. One of them, obviously, what 4 college football teams in the playoffs are not in the Big Ten or the SEC?
Take me a minute to get there. Tulane, JMU, and then Miami, and the other one.
Yep.
Texas Tech.
There was one of the visual rounds was Name This Queen. And they put up a picture of Queen Latifah and Queen Elizabeth and Steve McQueen. And then they put up a picture of a Pelicans player that had Queen on the back of the jersey. And idiots on our team could not.
Wait, no, what?
They did not. Proctor.
Proctor was there?
Yeah. I mean, he was just on the show a couple weeks ago, Proctor.
Proctor didn't
kind of a miss.
Dairy Queen?
Yeah, kind of a miss. This one was
could have been Sports Person of the Year.
It's true. He's on the cover. He is on the cover of our next print issue. On this date in 1980, who signed with the New York Yankees for 10 years and $23 million, making him the highest paid player at that point.
10 years, $23 million.
Very team-friendly deal at this point.
The position player?
Yes.
1980 with the Yankees.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, I don't know.
You don't know. We can skip ahead
could
to that
be Sheffield. I don't know.
No. Sheffield in 1980.
Was he 90s?
Very much in 1990s. Dave Winfield.
Dave Winfield. That's what I was gonna say.
Winfield was the correct
The
answer.
windbreaker.
So yeah, tough night for Team Norfolk, but we are in the World Series this Saturday.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you didn't need that one.
Well, this I think was for next season.
Gotcha. Okay.
This is win the World Series for the
season's
last season because John Proctor, basically by himself, because none of us could make it to the semifinals, went and got our World Series spot, essentially by himself.
He went by himself.
It was him and somebody else, but the other person is kind of like having you there.
So
with all
so very helpful.
All due respect.
Sounds like a good duo.
Remarkable, really incredible performance. So now we're gonna get the whole.
It's like when Kobe and whoever combined for 81 points.
We're gonna get the
Kwame Brown.
We're gonna get the crew back together this weekend and lose. That's the way it's gonna go. Thanks to everybody at PressBox, all of our great sponsors and partners. Oh, you know what? I didn't thank the guests, did I? Well, let me do that, and then I'll thank the guests. Thanks to Avolo Sports. Thanks to Nick's Fish House. Thanks to Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. CountySports.zone, your local Toyota dealer. BuyAToyota.com. 1-800-GAMBLER. HelpMyGamblingProblem.org. Your Baltimore area Highs Dairy stores. and the Costas Inn. Thanks today to Mike Florio, to Eli Heidenreich, and to Joe Serpico. We're going to get all that up in the greatest hits section of the
Seth Meyers is going to have Sabrina Carpenter, Jack Black.
tab at the GlennClarkRadio.com. He's in the Anaconda movie. I didn't know that. Every time
I think it's Carpenter versus White House, the upcoming court case.
Okay. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Every time we see a trailer for it now, my kids are like, "That's Steve."
Oh, from Minecraft?
Yeah. Like, you sure?
Well,
That sure is,
good
buddy.
for Jack Black.
You're right.
Yeah.
That sure is.
It's his new
tomorrow.
Drew will be here.
Okay.
We'll catch up with Bay Harvey of Johns Hopkins quarterback.
We picked tomorrow for that, huh?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
What?
With Drew.
Yeah.
You picked tomorrow for that.
Yeah.
Couldn't have done that Thursday, maybe.
I mean, I guess we can shuffle things around.
It's just asking. Like, it just seems like maybe not the right day.
Drew loves football.
Does he? Hi, Leah. All right, let's go. Thanks. Can I thank
We're only still
anybody
going
else?
because of you, because you just slowed down so
I'm
much.
so tired. Thanks to Griffin at Griffin_Bass. Follow us Twitter and Instagram and TikTok at Glenn Clark Radio. I don't even know what I just said.
Yeah, I think you said it all.
Have a great Tuesday evening. Go Towson. Duke sucks.